Okay, folks, we are live. Welcome to Sunday Night Futures Live. What we're going to be talking about tonight are earnings coming up this week. We're going to be talking about a bunch of stocks that came up on a Trend Spider AI search that we're going to be talking about, and a little bit of strategy there. We'll talk about some economic data coming out this week, earnings, and a whole lot more. But first, we're going to begin with the futures. So let's begin with the E-minis. And we have the E-minis opening up. They were higher by about 1/3%. We're up 0.29% at current. We have this is only a 5-minute chart, a little bit of a Bollinger Band squeeze firing off here. So net, a bullish open. Let's just set up some alerts. Okay. So we're getting ready to go here. A little bit of selling into this rally, but way too early to make any calls whatsoever, negative or positive. NQ, this is the NASDAQ 100, the futures version of the futures, of the Qs, I should say, of the Qs. Futures version of the Qs. We are opening up here 0.36%. We're coming off of the highs a bit. We have a breakout above resistance in purple. Let's set up an alert, see if that fails, A, and B, whether or not we move to new higher highs. Now, on Friday, we had a bullish reversal bar. We opened down, at least when I woke up, we were down in the futures market, pre-market, about 1.16%. That stands out in my mind. We managed to rally back somewhat, opened down, but managed to close positive. That's pretty bullish. On a daily chart with the Qs, you have a triangle formation, probably on the E-minis as well. The question is, which way does it break, up or down? Now, the one thing that would cause you to be a little bit concerned is that you're seeing strength in the VIX, not on Friday, but most of the week. You are also seeing days where we rally at the open get sold into. That's classic topping action. Let's go to comments. Let's let things settle down here. Mr. Pete, welcome. Yannick, welcome. Franklin, same to you, pal. Mr. Sean, good evening. Talon, the man, the mission. Polish Taco, good evening to you. Lee Cable, same to you, my friend. Very good. Larry, cost of living in Louisiana is probably 25% in Long Island. We'd love to have you. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I may join you. Beautiful horses. Beautiful horses, ugly women. Well, I like horses. All right. So let's check out small caps. Small caps opening up over a third. The only thing I'll point out here is that you're seeing some selling into this gap up. And again, we're talking about the first 5 minutes of the week here. Means absolutely nothing at this point. The key is to watch if we break down to new lower lows versus the trend, whatever chart that you're looking at, 15-minute, 5-minute, whatever. I'm not a day trader. I'm just using a 5-minute chart for opening price action in the futures. In a few minutes, we're going to switch to a 15-minute. And on some charts, we're going to go to a weekly. Okay. Now, I want to change gears here a little bit. I shorted, and I entered the trade into the forum. I never clicked send. So we went short of LE on the futures on Friday, and I was able to scalp a quick profit on it, and I was just out. And I wanted to enter the closing trade, and I realized I didn't even send it. So what I'm looking for here on live cattle is a rally back. The reason is that last week was significant in that we made new all-time highs, but then we reversed. We have a deal going with Argentina. Argentinian beef is going to be coming into the United States. That should help this rally in cattle prices, all because we bailed out Argentina. So that is bearish. But what I would like to do before we re-entered is see a 15-minute double top. If you take a look at a 15-minute chart here, even a 30-minute double top, we have the first leg down. This is going to get bought into. You got to think about it in terms of bulls, pardon the pun. Bulls on Wall Street, they're looking at this and saying, any pullback is to be bought because we've been in a major bull run. And I don't blame them. You need a reason to want to speculate, and to short this right now is pure speculation. And for context, I went short using a 1-lot contract, not a 5-lot or anything like that. So we're looking for a rally back on live cattle. Then I'm going to look to short it. It could be tonight. All right. I satisfied my curiosity there. So I'm going to talk about the mining stocks, gold mining stocks, NUGT, GDXJ. We've been in those names literally for years. And on Friday, we got stopped out of 1/3 of our position right at the open. Took us out. We had a trailing stop. I'm sorry. Did I say a third? Not our entire position, a third of our position. But thank God that we got stopped out of that position, because NUGT, I'm talking about a stop right here. And it just kept falling dramatically, closing down 14% on the day. Now, I had sold some a couple of weeks ago as well. So we're sitting with about a third of our original position. I'll talk about strategy and wanting to enter these names again more aggressively, but we had a lot of profits. We did not want to let them slip away, and we'll look to re-enter them. I will be sending out alerts to members, so more to come there. Let's check in with gold. Gold opening up here 1.55%, new all-time record highs last week. Silver pulled back as well. And we're long of both of these. I haven't sold any of these two positions. Right now, gold is the best asset class of them all. Right now, gold outperforming NVIDIA. What else do you want to take a look at here? Let's check in with energy. Natural gas opening up 4.62%. Interesting. We have a position here. We were down on it on Friday. So this may push our position green at the open if this continues. You can see that we just rallied right into a resistance level, and we have since pulled back. This is a 30-minute chart. Checking in with oil. Oil opening up. Nice little Bollinger Band squeeze in here, firing off. Looks like oil, we may rally on oil. A little bit of resistance at 57.60 on light sweet crude. What didn't I go over? Dollar, currencies. The dollar opening up off of its highs. I don't like the price action of the dollar. I think that the price action last week of the yen here. I'm sorry, I want to go to a daily chart. Daily chart looks a little bit better, higher low. Let's go to the weekly chart. We had a reversal bar last week. This is this week, right? Yes. So this is last week. And the euro looks a lot better than both the dollar and the Japanese yen. You can see that we're in rally mode, right? And now we're just consolidating sideways. And the path of least resistance is to the upside. So I think that the euro is going to break out in the next several days. The dollar is probably going to pull in some. If the yen begins to rally along with the euro, that means the dollar's in big trouble. There's no way the dollar is going to rally with the euro and yen rallying together. Can't happen. Statistically impossible. Let's check with some other futures. Copper, weekly chart, found a footing, building the right side. I'm not bullish. I'm not bearish. I really don't care about it. Doesn't look good to me. Home heating oil. Nothing happening there. Let's check in with crypto. Bitcoin opening up 2.42%. 30-minute chart, big gapper. XRP, we own both of these. XRP opening up 4.44%. So good stuff. Lots of volatility in crypto land lately. Agriculture, let's go back to the weekly chart. See if there are any setups there. Wheat, nice bullish reversal bar last week. Corn, same deal here. Corn looks better because it managed to break out. Wheat did not. Let's leave it off with soybeans. Soybeans looking interesting here. Very interesting. Closed at the highs of the week last week. Strong volume. We have Stokes beginning to hook up. I think that wheat looks soybeans looks pretty interesting here. So let's keep an eye on it. All right. Dow Jones Industrial Average opening up just shy of 0.25%. Let's check back with an NQ. None of my alerts fired off, so must be just consolidating right now. Yeah, so we gapped up above resistance, now support, retested. This is going to go up. So I suspect that we're going to see, absent some geopolitical news that comes out overnight, we should open up tomorrow morning in equities. They're going to take it out very, very soon, the highs of the session. Lots of strength building at the open here. All right. So let's take a look at what the heck is going on. And the first thing that caught my eye tonight, and this has nothing to do with the markets, I just found it fascinating. I was just in the Louvre not even 2 years ago, and the security there was ridiculous. And they robbed the Louvre in broad daylight using this mechanism, this machine, and they stole Napoleon's crown jewels. Gone. So really amazing stuff. Gone. All right. So let's take a look at TrendSpider, folks. I ran a scan here using their AI assistant Sidekick, and I want to show you what I came out with because I found some interesting symbols that I want to scroll through really, really quickly. What they're doing this weekend is they have a sale going on. Do not use their sale. They're only offering 32% off. Use my link below. On the standard, they're only giving you 3%. Use my link below. Get 35% off on all plans. If you're watching this on Twitter or Facebook, look above, get that link, but act quickly. And I'm going to show you what I did with, I did this literally just minutes before the show. I wanted to mess around. I had some time to kill. And I said, let me bring up Sidekick and run a scan. And so what I asked it to do was find me a Bollinger Band squeezes. And I just typed it in. I didn't have to set up a scan at all. And what it came out with, and I wanted S&P 500 stocks only. What it came out with was a bunch of names, but I don't like them all. One that I think is going to break down further is Target. It's in a downtrend. I think that this is going to break south. I would not be a buyer. What I do think is interesting is the Google, in that it had a very, very strong Friday. And what's happening here is that you have seasonality strength in October, November, December. So you're heading into a very strong seasonality cycle on Google. So I'm going to bucket these out by risk versus non-risk, okay? Google is part of the risk category. So if you believe the equity market's going to break out, you want to be looking at Google right now as a potential long. Now, another name that is out there, but I would not include this in risk. It tends to rally as technology comes off, and that is Altria. And Altria, I used to own this. We sold it, made money on it. But Altria has a Bollinger Band squeeze. What does that mean? Bollinger Bands are trading inside the Keltner channels. That means a lot of compressed energy. The question is, which direction does it break out? And the way I rationalize it is that whatever the prevailing trend is, in all probability, it's going to fire off in that general direction, especially when it's in a bull run. You have a much higher probability of higher prices than lower prices. Bull runs tend to want to continue up higher. So this has done a lot of nothing over the past couple of months. It's just been consolidating. And let's take a look at a weekly chart. Really, it's consolidating very, very nicely here. So this is one that if we get a sell-off in the triple Q names, I would be looking to buy this if there was price strength moving up higher. If it was selling off with the rest of the market, forget about it. I'm not buying anything except adding to shorts. Another name out there was Boeing. We just booked profits here. It's continued lower. It is building a Bollinger Band squeeze, and it also has seasonality, not in October. No positive seasonality, clearly negative seasonality strength in October, and it's playing out this month. But November, December, very powerful months. You have November up 67% of the times, and then December up 70% of the times. So that's good stuff. Now, Microsoft is on here, and I'm going to tell you my favorite out of the lot. Microsoft, where are you? Okay, So Microsoft has a Bollinger Band squeeze, but we also have a potential double top. Now, I'd be watching on Microsoft. It's very simple to identify where you want to short and where you want to buy. I don't care either way, which way it goes, but the price action needs to be clear and defined. Now, it is also in a bull run. It is consolidating gains. Now, I'd be a short if it closes down below $4.95 per share. I would be a bull if we break out and we close above, call it $5.22 per share. Seasonality this month and the next couple of months is okay, not great, but okay, 61%. 3 months back-to-back positive price action going back how many years? 38 years. Lastly, I want to leave it off with UPS. I did a video on YouTube. I'm going to probably do a follow-up video. And I put out as my price target this yellow line here. This is my manually drawn line. And it hit it. And it's been bouncing around here. And you have a Bollinger Band squeeze on my buddies. This came down. You have a Bollinger Band squeeze firing up. I think UPS is going to rally. And it's up 80% of the time in the month of November. December is not a good month seasonally, so you may get a short covering rally here on UPS. So I'm liking it. So that's the value of Sidekick, the virtual assistant. You just type it in here. You're good to go. Or bring that up and have at it. Have fun. And I give it away free to my silver and gold level members. So if you're not currently a member, sign up. And we are rebuilding the website. It should be launched. They're telling me November. There's always drama when it comes down to testing. Developers tend to not want to test. I don't know what it is, but I've hired a lot of developers. They give me my product and I test it and it's just not perfect. It has to be perfect. So we have a lot going on new launch. Prices will not be going up on current members, but they will be going up because I have to recoup my investment. And so join up now. Take advantage of my 14-day free trial offer, which is going away. I have decided I'm probably going to get rid of the 14-day free trial offer. That's what my consultants are telling me. Okay, we'll give it a shot. So take advantage now. All right. We have lots of comments here. Let's go back. Yeah, we own, oh, no, we don't, we own palladium. Sorry, I was about to say we own platinum. We do not own platinum, own palladium. Yes, the metals did really good last week. Nizar, welcome. TF Hatter, watching crude for a possible reaction to the Israel-Gaza ceasefire brokered, or is it fixed? I think that you're probably going to get a short covering rally on oil. Is it the bottom? I don't know. Not quite sure yet. But I looked at the charts earlier, daily charts. You know, as a matter of fact, let's bring it up here. We can talk about it a bit. Let's see if we have any support levels. And I want to talk about NUGT. So let's use USO. And let's get away from the daily chart for a moment. I want to bring up the weekly chart. And frankly, we're just in one big consolidation on oil. Let's overlay some trend lines here. This is the algorithm. And yet you have a lot of resistance above here. And you can see that this line in blue at around 81 bucks a barrel is like a rock. So very difficult to get into. Now, it's not showing us support here. Do we have Fibonacci retrace? Yeah, we do. Fibonacci retrace. We bounced off a Fibonacci retracement level last week. If that fails to hold, we're heading down to $65.80 the barrel. Let's go to the daily chart. So they smashed through support last week. We may rally up and into this resistance level at around, let's call it 69.50 per share. And then I would book profits. And if it closes above that resistance level, I'll buy back in. But we want to buy on strength. We want to overcome resistance. And we want to see volume. Sorry, Bob. Yes, hit the like button, please. Thank you very much. I wouldn't even have thought about it. I'm a bad YouTuber. Hit the like button. Thank you. What else do we have? Let's talk about NUGT. All right, so for those that just joined in, NUGT, we have owned it for a while. We have about a third of our initial position. We sold some back here at resistance. It broke through. I set up a trailing stop loss order, and we got stopped out on Friday. And thank God that we did, because if you take a look at the 15-minute chart, we got stopped out right here at the open, and it just kept falling. Now, I have little doubt that it's going to rally back, but it's still quite extended on a monthly time frame. And where I think it's going to rally back to, look at how extended we are here. This is a 3rd standard deviation Bollinger Band, not a 2 standard, a 3 standard. I modify this. So very extended, as is gold. I think what they're going to do is they're going to rally it back to around 171. I think it fails at that level, and I think we pull back, and we're going to break through these lows and probably head down to around 140, 145, give or take a few bucks. And I'll look to reestablish a position. But right now, we're sitting on cash, and we're feeling good about it. We also booked profits last week on UNH. We bought that back here. Nobody wanted it, and we sold it for a 17% profit. I think that's what we sold. Somebody remind me if we sold something else. I did some shorting last week as well. That's it. We covered what we wanted to. Okay. Economic calendar coming out this week. 20th, U.S. economic indicators. Quiet week at the beginning. Thursday, initial jobless claims. That comes out every week. Lots of Fed heads again. Oh, last week we had PPI, Producer Price Index. This week we get CPI. And that comes out on Friday. Otherwise, a quiet week. Fed Watch Tool, they're going to cut rates. They're going to cut rates. Have no doubt about it. Probability of an ease in the month of October, 100%. In December, 100%. And what did the Federal Reserve do with their balance sheet last week? It rose. It rose. I think it's because of the regional banks. And they haven't broken out above trend yet. We'll be watching for that, because that could cause the markets to go parabolic to the upside. So I wouldn't want to short into the Federal Reserve beginning the purchase of long-term Treasury debt. Earnings coming out next week. There is a lot. We have more financials coming out. A lot. Zions Bank, train wreck. Check out this chart. You don't think there's a problem in the regional banks? Look no further than, what's their symbol? I don't even know their symbol. What is it? ZION. Why is that not popping up? There we go. Here, let's go to the weekly chart. Crushed. Something's very, very wrong with these regional banks. Crushed. So there's a lot of them reporting. This could impact the market for better or for worse. If they don't make any damning announcements, then maybe the markets hold up. But if they start talking about forward-looking guidance and charge-offs rising, that's going to be a problem for the overall equity markets. On Tuesday, staple names, Coca-Cola comes out. Great company, GE Aerospace, defense plays, Lockheed Martin, Philip Morris, uh, RTX, 3M, Home Builder, General Motors, more defense plays, Northrop. This is where things get really, really interesting is after the close on Tuesday, Netflix, Texas Instruments. This is going to set the tone for earnings season. Then on Wednesday, not much going on pre-market. After the bell, though, Tesla, IBM, Lam Research, not a big player. Thursday, before the bell, we have Honeywell, Dow. So we're going to have some Dow Jones names coming out next week. We had a couple last week as well. Intel after the close. That should be an interesting one. They may matter again. Deckers, great company. Boyd Gaming, like to see how they're holding up. That's a gambling stock. Ford reports. General Dynamics, that's more defense plays. So a very, very busy week this week, and it's kind of diverse. You have staple plays and you have technology plays. It's going to be an interesting week, so buckle up. Now, when it comes down to the yield curve, for those not familiar with what the yield curve is, it kind of predicts stock market crashes. It did it back here in 2000, 2007, 2020, and here we are yet again, monthly chart, basing and getting ready for a breakout. Now, thus far, the markets have absorbed a lot of the rally. The question is, how much longer are they going to be able to absorb it? You have bonds that have already broken out. This is a monthly chart, so it doesn't mean they're going to close there, but bonds have already broken out. Staples are looking good. They're very, very strong. This is why we're looking at Altria as a potential play. If equities go down, meaning the high-tech beta plays go down, then we're going to be looking to see, okay, how are the staples performing? If we're going to see money flows into staples as we did earlier in the year, S&P 500, triple Qs went down. What went up? Staples. What also went down were bonds. Staples went up. They were a proxy for bonds. So keep an eye on this. Not many people talk about it. We do. Schiller PE ratio, 39.79. Very expensive. Second most expensive since actually the week before last. Other than that, it was not January 2000, October of 2000. The Buffett indicator, strongly overvalued, 217% beyond GDP. That's the total stock market, not the S&P 500, the total stock market of the United States. Crazy. So we're going into the week with equities that were volatile last week. We have a lot of earnings coming out this week. Valuations are bananas. And we also have the financials showing a lot of stress. The regional banks in particular. You're seeing bankruptcies come up quite a bit now. You have Tricolor lending, these hard money lenders for used cars. They're in a lot of trouble. And this is the amount of debt. This is negativity, unrealized losses on investment securities. So U.S. banks are now sitting on 395 plus billion in unrealized losses. A lot of these banks are bankrupt. If they ever had to market their unrealized losses, they're out. They're done. Who remembers when banks gambled away the economy in 2008 and got bailed out? Yep. And he's going back way too far. The Federal Reserve bailed out the regional banks in March of 2023. Also, this past Friday, and I've warned about this, these mechanics are bad. Last Friday was the largest options volume day in history. This is clearly unsustainable. So let's talk about why this matters. When you have retail money that's coming in and trading the market, and let's say they buy an option. Well, they're not buying leaps. They're buying daily options. They're buying weekly options, short-term stuff, because that's all they can afford. So, but the impact is that the market maker needs to go out and hedge his book. He can't sell a call contract without going out to the market and buying some of that stock. And what does that do to the price? Artificially sends it up higher. So this is how the retail money is artificially boosting the stock market. Now, taking a look at the bullish percent index on both the S&P 500 and the triple Qs, sentiment is beginning to come off some. They're not as bullish as they once were, but clearly they're speculating heavily in the options market, causing Friday's bullish reversal bar and a possible spike up this week if they continue to do this. So this is the mechanics of what we're dealing here right now. It's not institutional accumulation. Institutional money was selling last week. Each day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they spiked the market up and then they faded it. Friday was the opposite. They gapped it lower and they bid it up higher. S&P 500 has never been more concentrated in a single stock than it is today, with NVIDIA representing 8% of the index. So you have retail speculation, overvaluation, and a high concentration of money in only a few stocks. That doesn't end well. Can we break out to new highs? Absolutely. It's a bubble. It certainly can break out higher, but buckle up. You got to have a trailing stop loss order. All right. Covered a lot. I got to take a breath, take a sip of water, and we will go over chart requests. Right now. So if you're not in our forum, this is probably going to be going away. But I'm thinking about migrating folks that are on our distribution list here that are not paying members. They just sign on to chat and whatnot. I'm probably going to set up a free level for them so they can enter their symbol for Sunday Night Futures Live. So I don't want to disengage with people. I want to engage with people. So if you're not joined up here yet, head on over. I'm going to enter the link. There's no credit card required. Head on over. Sign up. Okay. Let's see what we got. Let's do a refresh. Quiet night today. Only 5. ARGX SGU. You're welcome, Miser. UEC. Sean, for you anytime. TSM for Franklin. Tesla. When I go over Tesla, just remember they're reporting earnings this coming week. I would not buy in advance of earnings. All right, let's get to it. As always, we'll begin from a top-down view, weekly chart first, and then to a daily chart. ARGX. Path of least resistance is clearly up. Good volume last week. All right, so here's the problem with ARGX. They closed it right into a resistance level. Even the algorithm didn't pick this off. But my years of experience in doing this have allowed me to have that eye. I am a human trendline algorithm. I said it. So just be careful here. While the algorithm didn't pick it off, I did. You have resistance immediately above. Be very, very careful. Now, if we close above this level, let's call it at, wow, this thing's $800. If they close it above, what was the close on Friday? 837. The high of the day was 838. if they close above daily resistance, strong bullish weekly on volume. I want to break out, and I don't care about sensitivity. All I care about is we close above it. Our alert is set. Let's use, it's hard to tell a number here. It's just above the highs of the day on Friday. The high of the day, again, was 849. Let's talk about 851, 852 per share. You close above that mark, I would be a buyer of the stock. I would not initiate here. I do think it's probably going to break out. Volume is really good. So bullish. Let's talk about seasonality for a moment. This is only 8 years worth of data, so be very careful. But October, November, pretty good months, and December, not so wonderful. SGU, weekly view. There's not a lot going on here. It is forming a Bollinger Band squeeze. Again, that's when the Bollinger Bands in red, actually, you know what I need to do? Changes to a 2 standard. Very tight Bollinger Bands. Interesting. It was in a downtrend. However, I think that we're putting in a higher low. Right there. I'm liking this more and more from a risk reward perspective. I would be okay. Let's go to the daily chart. Before I give you my thoughts, let's go to the daily chart. Oh, something just flew in my eye. Okay, so this is a beautiful candlestick here. Whenever you get this gap lower and a reversal day, bravo. Bravo. And nowhere it reversed, just above that support level. I'm bullish. I think it's going up. I like the Bollinger Band squeeze. You have one on the daily time frame as well. If it gaps lower tomorrow, I would not buy the gap unless, of course, I'll put it to you simply. I want to buy higher prices. I want to make sure that this breakout is not a head fake. If it gaps lower, I would not buy the stock. If it breaks out, I would buy the stock. And you pyramid up. You build your position on strength. Let's go to seasonality. How much data? 30 years of data. That's a little bit too much. $16 years is good. And you can see how the seasonality changes here a bit. October, not a good month. November is the second best month out of the year. December, not wonderful. What are the insiders doing here? You had an insider, Scott Baxter. He bought a bunch of shares. Let's see if they have his title here. You know, when guys sell stock, it doesn't mean all that much to me because a lot of it's just planned selling. But when they buy, when they don't have to, that tells me something's going on inside of the company. I don't have his title. But you have some insider buying here. That's always bullish. Let's keep that up. Okay. So I like it bullish on higher prices. UEC, I missed the rally on the uranium stocks completely. It looks like they had a blow off top last week. So I would avoid this. I wouldn't short it because they could still rip your face off. But I think that this is going to have to consolidate here a bit. Seasonality wise, seasonality is not wonderful. It's basically a coin flip which way we go in the next 3 months. And let's face it, they front run a lot of this this rally that it's kind of run its course right now. I think you need a consolidation, and then quite possibly it could base and move up higher. Let's go to the daily chart. It's probably going to just consolidate. One thing I would be worried about here is, could we be forming a head and shoulders setup? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and break. It's just speculation at this point. I would not trade off of that whatsoever. But I wouldn't touch this. It's kind of already ran and broke. Let it consolidate. Revisit it. All right. So Tesla, they report next week. So I can only give you this snapshot in time. What are they going to do after earnings? I have no clue. There's a potential macro view here, a potential double top on Tesla. That being said, last week's price action was very, very bullish, and it came on okay volume. Daily view. Nice consolidation. I think there's a good chance that this stock breaks out. Bullish price action. Seasonality is wonderful. Up 73% of the time in November, 60% in December. And Elon Musk was buying back in September. You do have some inside. Well, that goes back to the spring and summer. You had some insider selling here. Not a lot of buying, only Elon. Gary, SoFi. Weekly view. Topping action. They're trying to rally it. They keep fading it. It's classic topping action. I would avoid this. I think it's going to break. If we break 2571, we're coming down here to, what's this low here? 2484. If that breaks, we're coming down here to 2360. So we could just be entering a consolidation range. I wouldn't short it, but I would not be surprised if we entered a consolidation phase. And frankly, there's only 5 years worth of data, but that data shows that the next couple of months are not wonderful. Some insiders selling here. Any buying? Not really. So I'm not a buyer here. If it consolidated, we entered this wedge and we broke out, I would be a buyer. So I'm not bullish on this at all right now. AMD. Stuck right at resistance. Here's the value of the automated trend lines. I did not draw those resistance levels. That's a click of a button. That being said, seasonality is good in November, but once you get into December, not a wonderful month for AMD. Let's see if that aligns with the semiconductor sector in general. No, it does not. Semis are looking pretty good here. Nice recovery last week. So AMD not loving it at resistance. I'm not a buyer unless it broke out. Let's still go to comments. Gary, UAMY. UAMY. United States Animator. I never heard of this. This is already exploded. It's done. This looks like a penny stock pump and dump. Jesus Christ. A few people made a lot of money here. A lot. And they are out, gone. Insider buying. Let's see if somebody knew something. Gary Evans bought in late September. Let's see if Gary sold those stocks. Let's see if he appears next month on the sell side. He could have bought puts and just locked in his profits with a collar. What else do we have? Let's take a look at Cisco. I haven't looked at this stock in a while. This was the NVIDIA of the 2000 stock market bubble. It's actually looking pretty good. No insider buying. Let's see if it brings up anything. This is still in beta mode. Look at that. Brought up the Tesla trade. AVGO. Folks, this is the future. If you're not using it, you got to get it. Use the link. Get my 35% off. AVGO. Salesforce.com. Let's I want to bring up Salesforce and AVGO. Because I know Salesforce has been under pressure. Oh, Benioff's selling a lot of stock. That's the CEO. Seasonality has not worked for this company this month, but it may rally. They report mid to late earnings cycle. This is the guy. I should have changed that query. Net insider buying, something like that. Let's bring up AVGO, Broadcom. It's only a director. It broke out last week. Really good seasonality here on AVGO. Going into November and December, up 80% in November, 73% in December. Let's go to the daily chart. This may be an interesting one. Fibonacci retracement levels, that's not helping at all. Let's go to the weekly chart. Nothing there. I don't see a good setup here. 4-hour chart. That's a little bit better. We have a megaphone formation forming. It's a widening channel on a 4-hour time frame. Looks kind of bullish. So AVGO looking pretty good here. But pyramid up. Let's take a look at the equity futures. I haven't had any alerts that fired off. Very quiet night. Opened up with a gangbuster move here, but NQ is just settled in. No breakout, no breakdown. Same thing with the E-minis. No, none of my alerts have fired off. Let's go back to cattle. Nothing happening there yet. Gold. I'm looking to see if they're selling the rally here. Not much happening. Quiet night. I had expected more price action given the open, and it didn't happen. But it still looks like we're probably going to get an up open tomorrow, folks. And with that, everybody have a very, very profitable trading week. I will talk to you soon. Members, chat with you tomorrow. Till then, be well.